Robin. Robert. Hey! Ah, forget it. You're smelling that sweet perfume. Hey, whoa! It's boiling over. You're burning the chow. Sorry, Johnny.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make the chow from Robin Hood. In honoring the inspiration of this dish, we're cooking this chow over top a campfire. My brothers and I made this while we were out camping and it turned out excellent. We tried to stay about as true as possible to our take on what this dish might be like in real life, so let's jump right in and make some chow. So for this chow, I thought it would most likely be a type of stew, something like a bunch of tasty veggies, meat, and spices simmering over a nice fire. We settled on a recipe that is kind of like a Swiss steak. Now for the meat in this chow, I went with venison. Why, you might ask? Well, I noticed in Robin Hood that there is definitely one animal breed missing from that film, and that would be deer. Also, Robin Hood being a fox and Little John being a bear, I'm sure they would have wanted some meat in that stew. I was a bit inspired from that Easter egg in the latest Disney film Wish when Bambi asked Little John not to eat him.
Thanks for not eating me, John.
Don't mention it, Bambi.
But most importantly, we had venison in the freezer and wanted to eat it. So whether it is venison or something like beef stew meat, cut around 2 pounds of meat into 1 to 2 inch cubes. Take that meat and coat it lightly in some flour. Next, cook the meat in a pot that's been preheated with some oil, preferably by fire, and cook just a few minutes until all the sides are browned. After the meat has some color, set this aside and prep the remainder of the goods. The other add-ins to this chow are pretty typical stew veggies. In this case, chop up 1 large onion and 1 to 2 carrots that have been peeled. Also in veggie prep, 4 to 5 cloves of garlic that are minced. Now take all of the veggies and add them to the preheated Dutch oven with some oil. Saute these until they have softened a bit. Then add in the garlic and cook briefly. This is to help keep the garlic from burning. After sauteing, toss in around half a stick of butter because why not? Next, add in around 2 cups of beef broth. Have an extra 2 cups on hand just in case the stew needs some more liquid later on. Next, add in 1 14-ounce can of tomatoes and green chilies, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, and not videoed here, we also added in around 14 ounces more of tomato sauce. It was actually some remains of a marinara jar when we made campfire pizzas the night before, but a can of tomato sauce or crushed tomato would work just as well for this. Mix all this together in the pot and bring everything up to a boil. Once it's boiling, lower the temp to a simmer and stir this occasionally over the next 1.5 to 2 hours. Watch the liquid level, and if it seems like it's getting too thick, add in a little bit more beef broth. Over time, this should get nice and thick though. That's the idea with this. Just make sure to keep an eye on the temp, or else you'll end up burning the chow just like old Robert. For us, it was a great time to play some board games and sit back and relax by the fire while the delicious smells of our chow filled the air. Now for our version with this campfire, we did end up using quite a bit of charcoal to help keep even heat throughout. A lot easier to control with being able to move bits and pieces of charcoal depending on how hot we wanted the pot as well. Better for temperature control when you're doing it in a campfire pit. Finally for this dish, we really enjoy having Swiss steak over rice. So we did cook up a small batch of white rice on the portable stove. Cook as much white rice as you need for this. The stew is real good over rice. To serve, take some cooked white rice and top it with a nicely thickened chow and enjoy. This dish was spectacular. In particular, it was quite exceptional for our camping trip, which was a chilly one in the mid 50-degree range that weekend. This chow would be a great fall or wintertime comfort food, and it would work just fine with beef stew meat instead of venison as well. The meat from this was extraordinarily tender, and the reduced sauce was rich and flavorful. The green chilies did help add a bit of spice flavor as well. You can easily make this at home too, but it is definitely doable and easy over a campfire. Campfire, not to mention fun as well. And now you know how to make the Chow from Robin Hood, or at least my take on what it might be like in real life. I do hope you give this recipe a try. For us, it was just about good enough to have us singing ooh de lale. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please consider leaving a like to this video. Also subscribe if you like Disney. I make quite a bit of Disney inspired food in this channel, so follow along and learn more. Thanks again. See you next time.